Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little chaotic because I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to talk about my Christmas/December TBR along with my November reading wrap up. Let me just take a drink of my tea because looking at this stack right here of 19 books that I have to talk to you guys about is yeah, it's a bit overwhelming. I also think that I'm getting sick too, so I'm trying to get all my videos out, at least the first couple ones that you normally see early in the month. I want to get those out sooner than later because I don't want to sound horrific in the beginning of the month in case I'm sick. Let's start off with how many books I read in November. I read a total of 5 books in November, a total of 2,262 pages, which I feel like if I'm comparing it to last month, I think that's more than last month's page count, which is nice. My moods were mainly mysterious, dark, and emotional, and also adventurous. Let's begin with the first book I read. I read Those We Drown by Amy Goldsmith. I still haven't rated this book. I don't know why. I believe I'm giving this book a 3.5, 3.75. I enjoyed it. I actually listened to this on audio and it was fantastic. I think it's the same narrator that narrated another book in this stack that I'm about to share with you. I think she has like a British accent and I really enjoyed her voice in these books. I mean, it definitely enhanced my experience that much more. What I can say about this is that this is kind of like a paranormal fantasy slash mystery slash mythology kind of book. We are following a student named Liv and she gets an opportunity of a lifetime to study abroad in this prestigious fancy cruise ship called the Eos, and in this cruise ship she is a part of a smaller group of other students who are kind of grandfathered into this experience. She's kind of like the outcast of the group because she doesn't come from a rich family, she's not wealthy, she's not well off, she hasn't been grandfathered into receiving anything, she has worked really hard for what she's had. These other kids are very snobby, they come from wealth, and she's kind of like the outcast. Everything's going great until her best friend ends up missing and the story goes from there. I don't want to say a lot because I'd rather you just go into it kind of blind. It is interesting, the events that happen in this book. I did enjoy listening to it. It was very atmospheric. All the dark academia vibes were there and I enjoyed it. I don't know, for some reason, not enough to give it a 4. It was a good story, very well narrated. If you're gonna read this book, I highly recommend that you listen to the audiobook because it's phenomenal. There's a mystery going on top of that, other things happen that she has to deal with. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm deciding to give this one a 3.5. I enjoyed it and I had a good time, but that's pretty much it. The next book I want to talk about is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. So I'm going into the rabbit hole with this, and that's pretty much all I can say. I will admit though that if you're gonna start Throne of Glass, or at least the series, please read The Assassin's Blade first. I have a blog where I share why you should do that. No spoilers, you should check it out. I'm gonna link it down below, but I really recommend that if you do decide to start the series, start with Assassin's Blade first. And you will thank me if you do, because my experience has been kind of influenced, not in a good way, because I didn't start reading that book first. If you didn't know what the series is about, this is Sarah J. Maas's first series that she ever wrote ever. This is her oldest series, and it is about a girl named Selena Sardathian who has been a slave. She's been enslaved for quite some time until one day the crown prince makes her a proposition. The story goes from there. I'm not gonna say much. Don't read the back because it will spoil some things for you, like it did me. Just go into it trusting Sarah J. Maas because she is phenomenal. She's amazing. She's my favorite author of all time. For her books, you should probably just go in blind to get the full experience, but you should probably read Assassin's Blade first. That's all I'm gonna say. I gave this book a 4.5 because it was a little slower than ACOTAR. I can't help it. I do compare other fantasy books right now to ACOTAR because that is the biggest and the first fantasy series that I've read and completed. So yes, I am kind of gonna compare. It is a little bit slower. It takes some time getting used to this new world and the characters, but again, you're in great hands because Sarah J. Maas is phenomenal and everything she writes is amazing. The next book I want to talk about is A Study of Drowning by Ava Reed. I I don't know if I want to say I'm a little biased with this story, but I haven't rated it yet, but I think I'm going to give this book a 2 or a 2.5. And the reason why I'm giving this book that low of a rating is because I was not expecting a certain theme in here to be what the book is mainly about. And because it was basically thrown in my face, I did not enjoy where the story went, and I did not enjoy the main theme of the book and everything that the book was about. I basically just did not enjoy it. Did not enjoy reading about it. It's not to say it's a bad book, but for me, it's just not for me. I felt like there was a rug pull right beneath me, and I just didn't like the themes and the topics in this book. I don't like to read about those things, which is why I didn't enjoy it at all. This is a dark academia, and it follows Effie, who is obsessed with this one author who wrote this amazing fairy tale that she has lived by and read over and over again throughout her whole entire life. And one day she gets an opportunity to basically redesign this author's home. So she takes the opportunity, she goes to this kind of older Victorian mansion. There she meets her rival, who is there to do his own research and studies on the home and the author himself, and she bumps heads with him. She doesn't really like him because she had an encounter with him in school. So as she's doing this and as she's agreed to redesign this old home, things start not adding up, things don't make sense, very strange things start happening, and the story goes from there. I don't really want to go into too much detail, but I will say, unfortunately, this is the kind of story that's not for me, especially if there's this one specific theme in there that basically the whole book is about. So unfortunately, I just personally did not enjoy this book. I did not enjoy where it went, and even at the end, when everything was revealed, it just for me did not make any sense. On a lighter note, I then read You Again by Kate Goldberg. I gave this book off the bat a 5-star. This book was so good. I highly recommend that you guys read it. It is just perfect. It's literally a retelling of When Harry Met Sally, and I just enjoyed every bit of it. I really enjoyed this book. I also listened to it on audio, and the narrator reading this book was phenomenal. She was quirky, she was fun, and it was just such a good read. This book follows Ari and Josh. They meet under the most unique circumstances. They each find out that they're sleeping with the same woman one night, and from there, right off the bat, they don't get along, they don't like each other, they bump heads, but for some reason, they always end up bumping into each other. I think the story takes time in the span of 13 to 15 years. It seems like every 3 years, they accidentally bump into each other somewhere. I love this book so much because I love how imperfect they are as characters and how imperfect their relationship can be, but I love their chemistry, I love their banter, I love how Josh is very uptight and he believes in love and he's a hopeless romantic, but he's very stiff and stern and he's very set in his ways and very like stick up his butt. And then there's Ari, who's more live your life type of attitude. I don't believe in love. I believe in one night stands. I just want to have fun. I'm not trying to commit to anybody. Obviously their personalities clash. They're two totally different people, but they are so perfect for each other. It is such a good book. I highly recommend it. If you're going to read a romance this year or any year, this is the one that you should pick up because even though it's 406 pages, I believe, it was such a good time. It did not feel long. It wasn't dragged out, and I loved it. And the last book I read for November is After the Forest by Kel Woods. Now this book is a Hansel and Gretel retelling, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if I like retellings, at least fairy tales or some fairy tales. Like I wasn't a big Hansel and Gretel buff when I was younger, so maybe that's why I couldn't really relate to the story as much. I haven't rated this either because I don't know. I'm torn between a 3. I think I will be giving it a 3. It just wasn't for me. I enjoyed it. I listened to the narration of it and it was good. The person narrating it was really good. I really enjoy people that narrate books that have these beautiful thick accents. I think it just brings more charm into the story. But I really didn't like it. I feel like I really didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to enjoy it. And the atmosphere is there, you know, it's very gloomy and dark, and it's just almost too dark for me for it to be a retelling of a fairy tale, and I just didn't enjoy where it went either. I don't know if I'm gonna give it a 3, guys. We're standing at a 3 because I want to be nice, but I don't know if I'm even gonna give it a 3 at that matter. This story obviously follows Hansel and Gretel, and we're basically more focused on Gretel, and it's been years since they dealt with the witch and they escaped from her. And now Gretel is trying to live day by day because her and her brother are poor and they're just trying to get by, and her brother has a gambling problem. She's just trying to make ends meet. She does that by using the recipe that the witch had in her magical book of spells. She creates these magical, very delicious gingerbread cookies. She'll do like gingerbread hearts and gingerbread witches, and that's how they kind of get by and are kind of able to make a living. Because Hansel and Gretel got away in this small town, everybody knows that Gretel pushed the witch into the oven. People believe in magic and people believe in witchcraft and people believe in witches, but during this time and this era, witches are not good and they are not good for the town or the community. So they get hanged or they get tortured or they get burned, essentially. So there is rumor that some of the townsfolk believe that she's a witch, that they believe that what happened to them when they were kids didn't really happen, and that Gretel just decided to push an innocent old woman into the fire, into the oven. So it's frowned upon her, the events that happened to them when they were kids. That's all I'm gonna say. The story goes from there. There's so many elements in here. It is magical, but I just didn't like the story, honestly. I didn't like the retelling and I didn't like where it went. I like the narrator and I didn't hate it, but I didn't really necessarily enjoy it either. So those are all the books I read for November. Let's move on to my huge stack of books that I want to read in December. So let's start off with the Christmas books. I have so many Christmas books that I didn't get to read last year that I'm piling on to this year, as well as new books that I just purchased that I want to share with you guys. I don't know if I'm going to read all the synopsis of them. I'll try, but I don't know because I don't want to make this video too long. So before we begin, let me just take another sip of my tea, okay? Okay, so the very first book that I want to read in December, and I missed out on this last year. This book was hyped all over the internet last year and I missed out on it. And that is Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. This, I believe, is childhood friends to lovers, second chance romance. A pasture of dead trees, a hostile takeover of the Santa barn by a family of raccoons and shipments that have mysteriously gone missing. Love Light Farms is not the magical winter wonderland of Stella Bloom's dreams. In an effort to save the Christmas tree farm she's loved since she was a kid, she enters a contest with Insta-famous influencer Evelyn St. James. With the added publicity and the $100,000 cash prize, she might be able to save the farm from its financial woes. There's just one problem. To make the farm seem like a romantic destination for the holidays, she lied on the application and says she owns Love Light Farms with her boyfriend, only there is no boyfriend. Enter best friend Luca Peters. He just came home for some hot chocolate and somehow got a farm and a serious girlfriend in the process. Childhood friends to lovers, fake dating trope, Christmassy. What more can you ask? And I've heard so much good things about it. I can't wait to read it. The next book I would like to read, and I own the second copy of this, and I bought the first one because that's how I am. I have to, you know, read the first book in the series, or at least try. But unfortunately, I heard that this one wasn't that good, you guys. I hope that I'm not that person in that group, and I hope I actually end up liking it because it is kind of a chunky book. And that is Nick and Noel's Christmas Playlist by Cody Hall. It says, happily ever after, the perfect Christmas present. I think this is also a childhood friends to lovers. If I'm not mistaken, this Christmas story just got remixed. Nick Winter's Christmas at home is going nothing like he planned. What was supposed to be a memorable holiday with his longtime girlfriend goes sour when he learns she cheated on him while he was overseas. At least Nick can rely on his useful shift at the family Christmas tree farm with his best friend Noel Carter and her endless supply of Christmas tunes to lift his spirits. At night, the fun together is just what he needs to forget about his ex, but then they kiss and it feels so right. If Noel can turn Nick's Blue Christmas merry and bright, this might be the last Christmas Nick spends with a broken heart. This year, they'll be rocking around the Christmas tree as a couple. It's friends to lovers, obviously, but haven't really heard good things about it, so I'll be my own judge, I guess, and see. The next book I want to read is Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. This is Tessa Bailey's new Christmas novel, and anything Tessa Bailey puts out there, I'm going to pick up and read because I love her books, I love her banters and romances, and I love her steamy scenes. I just love her writing. I think she's a very good author. So this one is going to be no surprise that I'm pretty much gonna enjoy it. I don't know what it is. This is my first Christmas book that I picked up this year at Costco, believe it or not, and I'm happy I did because I know I'm gonna read this one. Tessa Bailey delivers a sexy, hilarious, standalone holiday rom-com about the adult children of two former rock stars who team up to convince their estranged mothers to play a Christmas Eve concert. Wow, that's actually totally not something that I would pick up But again, I love her writing, I love her banter, and I always like her characters, so I'm willing to read it. Let's read what it's about. It says, Melody Gallard might be the daughter of music royalty, but her world is far from glamorous. She spends her days restoring old books and avoiding the limelight. One awkward tabloid photo was enough, thanks. But when a producer offers her a lot of money to reunite her mother's band on live TV, Mel begins to wonder if it's time to rattle the cage, shake up her quiet life, and see him again. The only other person who could wrangle the rock and roll divas. Beat Dawkins, the lead singer's son, is Melody's opposite. The camera loves him, he could charm the pants off of anyone, and his mom is not a potential cult leader. Still, they might have been best friends if not for the legendary feud that broke up the band. When they met as teenagers, Mel felt an instant spark, but it's nothing compared to the wild, intense attraction that builds as they embark on a madcap mission to convince their mothers to perform one last show. That's all I'm going to read because it's really long, but it sounds like it's another friends to lovers type of trope. We'll see. We'll see if I like this one, but again, I love everything Tessa Bailey puts out there, so I have no doubt that I'm probably going to love this too. The next book I want to read is A Winter in New York by Josie Silver. Now, Josie Silver, I forgot that she put out that One Day in December, I think it's called, and I started that book last year. I did not enjoy it. I didn't enjoy where it was going as far as the story goes, and I did not enjoy the main theme. So I hope I enjoy this one. It's very cute. I mean, look at the cover. I think that's very, very cute. And yeah, I just hope I enjoy it, honestly. Yeah, One Day in December, she wrote. And apparently a lot of people liked it, but I didn't. A young chef stumbles upon a secret family recipe that might lead her to the love and life she's been looking for. That's really pretty much all I need to know about this book, because I just want to kind of go into these holiday books a little blind, because now I know what Wreck the Halls is and it kind of doesn't excite me. But again, I might love it. Who knows? Same with this one. The next book on my list is a novella, and this one again was hyped last year. I missed out on it. I love the fact that I own this copy because it's so beautiful, and that is The Mistletoe Motive by Chloe Liaz. This one is an enemies to lovers. She owns a bookstore, and that's pretty much all I know. It says, it's a slow burn enemies to lovers holiday romance, perfect for the hating game and you've got mail. I love The Hating Game. It's one of my favorite romance books of all time. I know that I'm going to love this one too. The next one is also a childhood friends to lovers type of trope, and it's A Cross Country Christmas by Courtney Walsh. And this one, I believe, is about the main character. She has had a crush on her best friend for years and years, hasn't ever been able to confess her love for him until they get stuck doing this road trip together, and then all these feelings unravel. That's pretty much all I know about it. I'm going into it blind again, and I'm excited because I love any kind of road trip romance book. I also love that they're friends and they become lovers. We all know what's going to happen, so I'm very excited about this. The story of forgiveness, hope, and enduring ties that proves it's never too late for a second chance. Second chance romance, friends to lovers, road trip. It's like the perfect recipe for a Christmas holiday Hallmark romance book. The next one on my list is A Little Magic by Lindsay Lanzin, and I think this one is also a childhood friends to lovers, but it's reversed, meaning the guy is the one that's had this massive crush on the girl all this time, and it's their romance. And this one is interesting because this one kind of sounds a little more emotional. You also get both of their perspectives, which is really awesome when it comes to a romance. I love that. 9 years to fall in love, 8 nights to learn the truth, 1 chance to rewrite the past. It sounds like it's going to be one of those emotional Christmas stories where they have to dig up the things that happened in the past. So I'm excited. I know this one's going to be emotional, but look at this beautiful cover of it. Like, doesn't it make you want to read it? I know I want to read this book. This is one of the ones that I want to get to sooner than later. The next one is part of a 3-book series, and this is the first book in the series. These are all small town Alaskan romances, meaning they take place in Alaska. This one's called The Tourist Attraction by Sarah Morgan Taylor. Look how cute this cover is. And I think this is a grumpy sunshine. It says, a unique voice and a grumptastic hero. Fresh, fun, romantic. He had a strict no tourist policy until she broke all of his rules. And that's pretty much all I want to say about this book. Again, going into it blind, I think it's going to be cute. I think it's going to have some great banter. I heard that out of the series, the first one is one of people's favorites, so I'm excited to get to it. And it says, she's taking a trip, he's about to fall. I mean, that's your basic Hallmark cheesy corniness, Christmassy, all in one book. So I'm excited. There are also 2 books that I don't physically own right now that I do plan on reading in the month of December, and they're both Christmas books. They are both from Once Upon a Book Club. One is their 12 Days of Book Clubmas Avant calendar, and if you didn't know what that is basically a huge Christmas Avant bookish box that Once Upon a Book Club has every year, and they always sell out. It comes with a series of novellas. It's 12 short stories in one little tiny book, and you read a story a day. You have options to either start it in the beginning of December, or you can start it to where the last story of the book is on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. Every novella has one gift that correlates with the story, and I think it's just so much fun because they're all bookish goodies. The experience is so fun. I just love it. This is my second year getting it. I'm getting their 2023 Avant calendar this year, and I just can't wait. I usually go on Instagram and I don't read you the novel, obviously. I don't read you the stories, but when it's time to open the gift, I do a little boomerang showing the book and the unopened gift, and in my stories I share and I open it. So I might be doing that again this year, and if you guys are interested, the link to my Instagram is down below. Sometimes I randomly get on there and rant, or I talk about my day, and so it's just another platform where you can kind of see what I'm up to on a daily. I'm gonna read that, and then also they have a Christmas themed box with a Christmas book in it. It's called Through the Snow Globe, and this is another one of those books where it sounds very emotional. I almost didn't get it because I love reading fun and very happy Christmas rom-coms. When it comes to the more emotional books, I kind of don't like to read very sad holiday books. This one sounds like it's in between, but it is Christmas themed, and all the gifts are themed around the book, obviously, and it's a Christmas book, so I had to get it. Perfect for readers of One Day in December. That's funny because I did not like that book, but that's okay, guys. That's okay. This enchanting novel by USA Today bestselling author Annie Raines, with touches of It's a Wonderful Life and Groundhog Day, follows a woman dangerously close to losing it all as she receives an unexpected Christmas gift that prompts a surprising journey of self-discovery and another chance of happiness. Okay, so this book has tropes I don't like. Groundhog Day, and it's kind of like One Day in December, but again, we're gonna give it a try, and then you guys will see my thoughts during my wrap-up, but it's gonna be very interesting. I did have to get it though because it is Christmas themed, and it's gonna have Christmas bookish goodies, which I cannot say no to that. The last book on this, at least the Christmas portion of my TBR, which is ridiculous, is one of my special editions that I just got. It's also a holiday book, and it's a male-on-male romance, and that is Second Chances in Newport Stephen by TJ Alexander. Look at this beautiful, beautiful cover. This is a Illumicrate Afterlight special edition, and it's just gorgeous. I think this is just about a single father, a working single father, and the other main character is just trying to have a fresh new start. That's all I really know about this book, and that's all I really want to know. I just want to go in it blind, but I do think it's about giving love a second chance when maybe the first time around, not with each other, but with other people that they've had, it didn't go so well. So I'm excited. I think the book and the edition is stunning. It's so beautiful. And yeah, I can't wait to get to that. So now let's go on to the books that are non-Christmas books that I also think I'm gonna read this month. No, I'm just gonna say, I have a list of things, like a huge stack of books that I really would love to get to all through this month of December. Am I gonna get through all of them? Not really, but that's okay. I am a mood reader, so at least I have options and different themes and different kinds of books and genres to keep me interested. And that's not just all Christmas books. So that's why my stack this month is really big. Now, these are the books that are not Christmas themed that I've been working on reading, or I am currently reading at this time. The first one is the 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This one for sure is going to be in my wrap up because I'm already on page 110. I have 200 more pages to go, so I'm hoping I finish this in the next couple of days. I am enjoying it. It is a heartfelt story, and it is so good. This is my second book from her. I really enjoy her writing. In this book, we follow Clementine West, and she has recently lost her aunt. Her aunt has passed away, and she has inherited her aunt's old Victorian style apartment. This apartment is very special, not only because it's her aunt's, but it's also full of magic. One day, as Clementine wakes up, she finds this handsome, gorgeous man in her kitchen with a southern drawl, and the story goes from there. The only thing is, though, is that he is in that apartment 7 years in the past. So there's that. It's their romance, and the story goes from there. I'm really enjoying it. I anticipate this being no lower than a 4. I think this is going to be a 5-star, but I don't want to get my hopes up yet. I will say I'm enjoying it, and it's a really, really great book. If you're looking for more emotional, in-depth, but very well-written romance book that's deeper than just your average rom-com, look no further because this is it. The next book I'm currently still working my way to would be Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the second book in the series. I believe the series is called the Empyrean series, and this is the book that follows Fourth Wing. I'm not going to go into the synopsis or anything because I don't want to give anything away, but I am actually enjoying this book a lot more than I did Fourth Wing, which is a plus for me. I'm already on page 206. I literally only read 6 to 10 pages a day just because it is more world building, more politics, more character building. It is a slower paced book for me, but nonetheless, I'm enjoying it and I hope to continue it throughout December, and maybe, who knows, maybe I'll finish it, maybe I won't. Just know that I am still reading this. The next book that I know I'm going to read for sure this month, and I'm buddy reading this, that would be The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I read Throne of Glass last year and I am going down the Sarah J. Maas rabbit hole again. I started Throne of Glass. I read that first, like I mentioned. Instead of going into Crown of Midnight, we've decided that we're going to start reading Assassin's Blade because I just can't wait, okay? I can't wait for another book to read this book and get to understand the characters more and the backstory and where the characters came from and all the events that occurred before Throne of Glass happened. So that's all I'm gonna say. I am gonna read this. I am excited for this, and you will know my thoughts. It'll probably be in one of my weekly vlogs. You will know my thoughts with no spoilers, obviously. And yeah, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. If I get sick of reading all these Christmassy rom-coms, I did throw a fantasy gothic horror in there, and I think it's some magical realism slash romance slash fantasy slash all of the above, okay? So the first one is, I actually should have let me put the cover back on because the naked cover of this doesn't tell you anything. The first book is a gothic fantasy horror, and that would be Starling House by Alex E. Haro. This is Illumicrate's beautiful edition. I did an unboxing of that. Go ahead and check out if you didn't catch it, where I reveal all the beautiful customizations of this book. Go ahead and watch my latest Illumicrate unboxing video. I'll link it down below because this book is so stunning. So stunning. But yeah, all I know about this book is that it is a fantasy gothic horror about a haunted house. That is it, and that is all I want to know because it is a shorter book, so I don't want to read a lot of the synopsis. I've already read it in another video and I'm not going to read it again, and I also forgot about the synopsis, which is good, so I'd rather just go into it blind, but I've heard nothing but great things about this book. The last one on this list, just beautiful Owlcrate edition of this book, which is also in one of my vlogs, and that is The Unmaking of June by Adrienne Young. I read Adrienne's Spells for Forgetting last year. She writes so lyrical and so beautiful, and her words are so stunning to read. I wanted to pick up something else by her because I love her writing so much. She made me fall in love with magical realism. I love it. And all I know about this is that this is kind of like a blend of fantasy with romance and a mystery, because I think the main character is trying to solve the disappearance of her mother or something like that. The woman risks everything to end her family's centuries-old curse, solve her mother's disappearance, and find love. That's pretty much all I want to know about it going into it, because again, it's one of those other short books that I know that I can probably get through this month with no problem. I also have the audio versions of both of these books, so I'm hoping that I can get through these this month. So there you have it, guys. That is my long November reading wrap up slash December TBR video, and I am so happy that I stuck through this because it's a lot, okay? It was very overwhelming, but I'm glad I did it. I wanted to just provide all in one for you guys. I hope you guys stuck around for the end, and if you did, thank you so much. It means so much to me when you guys watch my videos. You have no idea. So that's it. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you on my next one. Bye!